What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Mafex Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse Spider-Man, aka Peter B. Parker. And just like Superman, it kind of feels surreal to finally have this figure because they announced it so long ago. In fact, I remember exactly where I was at when they announced this guy. It was 2019. I was in San Diego at Comic-Con, and I was coming from the hotel on a shuttle bus over to the convention center, and I remember them revealing this, and I was so excited about it. This was probably the thing that I was most excited about to be revealed that weekend. I'm sure all the companies that were actually at Comic-Con had a bunch of cool reveals or whatever, but this is the one that I was like, man, I cannot wait for this. And it's crazy to finally have this now, especially at a time where I can't even imagine going to a convention. You know, it seems like so unrealistic because the state of the world and all that. But yeah, thinking back on when they announced this guy, it just seems so long ago. It was a different world, but you know, it's here. Mafex finally got it to us, and I'm very excited. So let's go ahead and get into it. Starting off with the box, you are able to see the figure through the window. You can see all the awesome accessories that he comes with. Down here in front, we have some really cool Into the Spider-Verse artwork. Then we get a look at the figure. On the side of the box, we have some more artwork, and it also gives us another look at the figure. On the back, we get a look at all the cool stuff that he's able to do. We can see the accessories he comes with, and down here we got a bunch of bullshit. On the side of the box, we get a look at one of the many display options that this figure has, so that's awesome. On the top, we have some more artwork, and that's about it for the box. It's collector friendly and all that cool shit, but let's go ahead and take this guy out and take a look at the figure. Alright, so here we have Peter B. Parker right out of the box, and I'm not going to waste any of your time. I'm going to suck all the suspense out of this review right now and tell you right off the top, this thing is a damn masterpiece, and I can't believe what a good job Mafex did. I feel like they did pretty much everything right. He does have one small flaw in my opinion, but it's not really a big deal, just something I feel like they could have done a little bit better. But aside from that one thing, I would say that this guy is pretty much perfect, and that's a huge relief because when it comes to Mafex figures, you never quite know what you're gonna get. A lot of times we see the figures shown at conventions or in promotional shots, and they always look amazing, but then we get them in hand and there's always one little thing that keeps them from being perfect. There's always something that you have to modify or some imperfection that you have to overlook or something like that, and for a lot of collectors it's frustrating because of the price point. People expect perfection, and you know, nothing's ever perfect, but I get it. You know, it's reasonable to want like the highest quality figure for the price, and a lot of times Mafex does fall a little short. For me, with most of their figures, the positives outweigh the negatives, so at the end of the day, I'm usually satisfied with Mafex stuff, but I understand the complaints. And honestly, this is probably the most impressed I've ever been with the Mafex figure right out of the box. Even my beloved comic book Spider-Man from Mafex had some things where I was like, oh man, I'm not sure what I think about that. You know, like the color of the blue, that's something I wish was a little bit different. Still, this Mafex comic Spider-Man is one of my favorite figures, top 5 easy. But when I first pulled it out of the box, I was like, oh, I don't know if I like that blue. The diaper thing looks a little weird, and those were things that I just had to overlook. At the end of the day, you know, I freaking love this figure. It's, like I said, top 5. But for Peter B. Parker, I just pulled it out of the box and I was completely satisfied with everything that I was dealing with. So just incredible work. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at all the awesome things that this figure has going on. And starting off at the head, I think this is a really nice looking head sculpt. It has a lot of great detail on it. I like the 5 o'clock shadow that we have going on. I like how it has those marks in between the eyebrows to give it that animated feel. And it just looks really good. To me, it looks exactly the way that he did in the movie. And I think for the most part, it's very well done. But this is also where I have my only problem with the figure, and that would be with the lock of hair. I really don't like the way it looks. It looks like it's kind of glued to his forehead, and it looks very strange. I feel like the Marvel Legends version executed that whole look a little bit better. As you can see, the hair hangs in front of the forehead. It's not plastered onto the forehead like it is on the Mafex one. So that's the one flaw with this figure, in my opinion. That's something that could have been done a little bit better. But aside from that, the head sculpt does look very nice. The hair looks good, has some really good sculpting work, and the face to me looks incredible aside from that lock of hair. And thankfully, if you're completely unhappy with this head sculpt, they did give us an alternate option for an unmasked Peter B. Parker, and I think this looks really good too. The details on here are just as well done as they were on the previous head sculpt. We do have a 5 o'clock shadow. This time around, he does look a little bit more angry, so that's nice to have different emotions conveyed between the two different head sculpts. I like how we have the hair coming out from the mask. The detail on the mask looks incredible too. We have some black paint work in the lines, and then some nice texture on the red. The eye looks really good, And just everything about this head sculpt is extremely well done. But I love the fact that they gave us 2 different display options for an unmasked Peter B. Parker. That is awesome stuff. But moving on to the body here, starting off with the jacket, I think they did a really great job with this. I like how it has these gold buttons on there. It has some really nice stitching. And underneath the jacket, we have an extremely well sculpted Spider-Man body. And we'll take a look at that once we remove the jacket. But yeah, it looks great. And one thing I love about this jacket is that you could actually put his hands into the pockets. So that is super cool. And the jacket actually has a wire running through the lining, so you can mess with it and do whatever you need to do. And even the collar has a wire, so you could pop his collar up like that, which I love. But yeah, look at the stitching on here. It's really nice. Extremely well done. Then moving down into the legs here, he does have his sweats, and the sweats look good too. In some areas they kind of bunch up, but it's not a problem, like right here. Kind of bunches up in the back. But yeah, the sweats are really well done. And then down here for the feet, we have the boot on the right side that has some really good details. Even the laces are different colors. That's super cool. Man, they put a lot of detail into this boot. Just kind of noticing that. Then on this side we have a shoe, which has some... Damn, this has some good detail too. Like the little parts that hold the laces are actually painted silver. Man. Yeah, they went crazy with it, so that's good. So not only does this figure give us a damn near perfect version of Peter B as he appeared for the majority of the film, it also gives us a bunch of options to change him up, and we could pretty much capture any look that he had throughout the whole movie. So this figure is basically a 3-in-1. So first off, obviously we have this look, which is probably the look that comes to most people's mind when you mention Peter B. Parker. Me personally, this is what I think every time somebody talks about this version of the character. This is the version that pops into my mind, so I'm glad that they did such a good job with this main version. And then we have this look where he just has the sweats and bare feet, and I went ahead and gave him his coffee mug because this is awesome. I like how they sculpted the coffee mug to the hand so you don't have to worry about it falling out or anything like that. But look at this. This is perfect. Interchangeable bare feet. So there you go. How cool is that? Man. Look at that. He just looks like he, you know, just casual Spider-Man just hanging out drinking coffee in his sweats. So that's good stuff right there. Because underneath all the fun stuff like the jacket, the sweats, the boots, the shoes, the coffee cup, the pizza, and all the silliness that came from Into the Spider-Verse, we have this, which is just a really good Spider-Man figure. And I was really hoping that they would nail this because in my opinion, this kind of ties the whole package together and makes it really special. I'm happy to see that they didn't overdo the dad bod proportions. I know that's something that's accurate to the movie. You know, he's got a big old gut, he's out of shape and all that stuff. I'm happy that they didn't overdo that with this figure because with the way they did it, you could still get those things going, but for the most part, we have just a standard, very well done Spider-Man figure. So as you could see, he looks regular. He doesn't have a big old gut or anything, but you could kind of angle him in a way to where it looks like he has a like a gut, and then, you know, you can make it a little bit more accurate if you want. But in my opinion, this is just a really good looking Spider-Man figure. Probably one of the best Spider-Man figures out there, second to, you know, the Mafex comic book Spider-Man, and that's probably it. But man, this is so awesome. This came out so good. I love the colors, the sculpting work on it, the articulation. You know, this gives me pretty much everything that I would possibly want out of a Spider-Man figure. And then on top of that, we get the Spider-Verse stuff, so it's crazy. And then taking a close look at the details, starting off with this head sculpt, I think this looks really nice. It just feels like a good generic Spider-Man. Doesn't really feel like artist specific or anything like that. It does look the way that he did in the movie, so I do like it. And I like all the detail on there. There's some really nice texture and everything, and it just looks really, really good. And the alternate head looks really good too. This one does feel a little bit more specific to the actual animation. This one kind of captures that look a little bit better with the squinting eyes, and it kind of has like an attitude, you know. But I think this is awesome. And then moving down into the body, the sculpting work on the body is really good. The lines are sculpted. There's a lot of nice texture. The spider logo on the chest looks really good. There is a bit of a wash on there, and in some areas it's a little heavy. You can see right in here in the shoulders, it's a little bit darker than it should be, but it still looks fine. Same thing over here. But aside from that, yeah, this Spider-Man body looks really good. In the back we have the spider logo. And again, it feels like a general Spider-Man figure, but at the same time, it feels accurate to the movie. And then on top of the crazy accessories that we've already looked at, like the extra heads, the jacket, the interchangeable legs and feet, Spider-Man also comes with a bunch of other accessories, including a shitload of hands. So first off, we have a set of open loose hands, and then we have a pair of fists, we have a set of thwip hands, we have another set of open hands, and I guess these could be used to grip onto things. Next up, we have a set of gripping hands that could be used to hold onto the webs that he comes with. Then he has a set of open dramatic hands. Then next up, we have a set of wall crawling hands, and then we have another set of wall crawling hands that have magnets in them. And one of the sets of open hands actually has a peg on the inside of the hand, and you could use that to get Peter to grip onto the removed mask accessory. So how cool is that? I almost couldn't figure that out. I was like looking through all the accessories to see what had a peg hole. Finally, I came across the mask here, and yeah, it's got a peg hole. So the left and right hand have that. So that is very cool, and I don't think I've seen that before on a figure. So I do appreciate that a lot. That is awesome. He also comes with interchangeable feet. We have the regular feet that we see on the regular Spider-Man figure, and then magnetic feet. He does come with a slice of pizza. And then he comes with a hand that has a coffee cup attached to it. And damn it, that's a lot of accessories. That is awesome. And now for some size comparisons, here we have Peter B. Parker alongside the Mafex Into the Spider-Verse Miles Morales Spider-Man and the Marvel Legends Into the Spider-Verse Spider-Gwen. And I really like the way that Miles looks next to Peter B. Parker. He definitely looks like a little kid next to a grown-ass man, so I think the scale works really well there. And I like that Miles Morales figure, but that figure is kind of a perfect example of what I was saying about Mafex before. Like right out of the box, he was cool, but his shorts looked really bad, so I had to like trim things and glue things down and just make it work for me. And now I like the figure a lot. I think he's awesome, and I like him even more now that I have this Peter B. Parker because I love the way they look together. And as far as the Marvel Legends Spider-Gwen goes, I think she looks really good with them, but I'm definitely gonna pick up the Mafex Spider-Gwen when that comes out. Oh man, here we go. This is like the holy trinity of Mafex Spider-Man figures. I love all three of these figures, some of my favorites in my collection. On the left we have the Mafex comic book Spider-Man, and you know, that thing is amazing. It's probably my favorite Mafex figure. And on the right we have the Homecoming Spider-Man, and that's the figure that really sold me on Mafex. Like I had a couple other ones and they were cool and everything, but it was that one that made me like, damn, I really like what these guys have going on. So it's cool to see all these three together. If you're a Spider-Man fan, in my opinion, these figures are must-haves because these are some of the best versions of these characters. Best version of the comic book Spider-Man, best version of the Homecoming Spider-Man. And I made videos on both of those. You guys be sure to check those out. But yeah, it's awesome seeing these three together. And next up, we have Peter B. Parker alongside the Mezco 112 Collective, Spider-Man Homecoming Homemade Suit Spider-Man, and the Marvel Legends Retro Spider-Man. And then here we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Spider-Man Noir and the Marvel Legends Into the Spider-Verse Prowler. And once again, I would love to see Mafex do a Spider-Man Noir, because even though I thought the Marvel Legends one was okay, I didn't like it all that much because of the jacket they used. They used that same old Nick Fury jacket that's been around for like 15 years. Luckily, I got a cool custom jacket from Rebel 10 Customs, and it made me like this figure a lot more. But I feel like Mafex would do a really nice Spider-Man Noir, and same thing could be said for Prowler. I thought the Marvel Legends Prowler was okay, but there were some things that I really disliked about it, and I feel like Mafex would absolutely kill it with the Prowler figure, so hopefully they do that one of these days. And then here we have him alongside a G.I. Joe Classified Viper and a G.I. Joe Classified Cobra Trooper. And next up we have him alongside the Marvel Legends movie Deadpool and a Black Series Imperial Trooper.
And to finish off the size comparisons, here he is next to Marvel Legends Peter Spider-Man and the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap.
So I'm going to go ahead and cover the articulation without the jacket or the sweatpants because those things would hinder it a little bit, and I wanted to give you a good sense of what this body was capable of. So Mafex has already given us a bunch of really good Spider-Man figures, and all of them have really great articulation, so it's no surprise that that is the case with this guy. But let's go ahead and get into it. So starting off at the head, it can move side to side. He does have movement at the lower neck and at the upper neck, so using both of those, he could look down to right there. And then it could look up to right there. And then we get some really nice tilt. Damn, look at that. That's really good. And then for the torso, we do have a diaphragm cut that does twist. Moves side to side. Goes back to about right there. Comes forward to right there. Doesn't really go forward all that much on its own, but it's still pretty good. And then we get some side to side. He also has a ball joint at the waist, so using both of those, that's where you're really going to get some nice crunch Not as good as we've seen on some previous Mafex Spider-Man figures, but I still think it's pretty good. Then it comes back to right there. Then it goes side to side at the waist, and then we also get twist at the waist. And then for the arms, we do have these awesome Mafex butterfly joints. And these are really cool because you could get his arms in front of him like this for swinging poses or punching poses or whatever you want to do. So I always really appreciate that. And then you could also cock them back for punching poses. And then the arms do go all the way around. Then you could bring them up to the side a crazy amount. Damn. And then he does have upper bicep swivel. He's got double jointed elbows, which are awesome. Look at that. Bam. Really nice double jointed elbows. At the wrist, we have a ball joint, so we get a hinge and a swivel at the hand itself. And then for the legs, we have the awesome Mafex drop down hips, so you could bring him down a little bit, kick his leg way up to right there, which is nice. Same thing with this leg, obviously. Then you can bring his leg out to the side to about right there. You can bring it back to like right there. We do have the upper thigh swivel hidden in there. And then for the knees, we have double jointed knees, so that gets a good bend. No lower leg swivel, but we have a swivel at the ankle because he does have a ball joint. So we get a hinge, swivel, and then we also have rocking ankles. Then he does have toe articulation as well. So, you know, as you'd expect from a Mafex Spider-Man figure, he does have some really good articulation. I think pretty much anything that you'd want out of a Spider-Man figure, this guy is capable of. So they did a good job with it. But again, that's no surprise at all. They've been killing it with Spider-Man figures for quite a long time now. So, all right. So when it's all said and done, I don't know if there's anything else I could say about this figure other than I freaking love it. I think that Mafex did an incredible job on pretty much every aspect of this figure. Articulation is good, accessories are good, and it does its job so damn well. It looks just like it did in the movie, but not only that, you could take away all those bells and whistles and you still have a badass Spider-Man figure. So if you're one of those people that missed out on the comic book Mafex one, or you don't like the Marvel Legends retro one, here's another option for you to consider. And it's not like it perfectly captures a specific look from the comics, but it's a good generic Spider-Man once you take away all the Spider-Verse stuff. But the Spider-Verse stuff makes this figure unique and awesome. So this figure does so much for me. You know, it captures different looks, it feels like different versions of the character, and it's just a super fun figure, and I freaking love it. That's all. That's what I want to leave you with. I really love this figure. Damn, it might go down as a coffin figure one of these days. Tuesday Crew, they know what's up with that. It's definitely a good pocket figure. I'll probably be taking this guy with me everywhere. I feel like I might have to buy another one because I'm not going to be able to put this guy down. I'm going to be putting it in my pocket, going to work with it, taking it to the store. I'm probably going to break it eventually. I need another one, but damn, I love this thing. So I'm really, really happy with it. Be sure to let me know what you guys think of this figure. I'm curious to know if anyone has any complaints, you know. If I had to pick out some imperfections, I'd say I don't really like the way the lock of hair looks on the unmasked Peter B. Parker head, and the wrist joints, the ball joints kind of look a little bit big, but they're not distracting. But you know, I've heard people say they look big, and I could see that. I could get where they're coming from, but it doesn't really bother me too much. But let me know in the comments if there's anything about this figure that you dislike. Also, let me know if this is a contender for one of the best comic book Spider-Man figures out there, or just classic Spider-Man figures. Do you think he competes with the Mafex Spider-Man one? Does he compete with the Marvel Legends Retro? Does he compete with Pizza Spider-Man, Mezco? Let me know what you guys think. But anyways, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, be sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. If you're unaware, I go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and every Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So come through, hang out, let's talk about toys, and let's get weird. Thank you very much. Peace.